Thank you, Miss Janice. Thank you,
You're the best.
thank you, thank you so much. Welcome. This is Coach Cook. I am your trusted name and life coaching. I hope that you had a great day. I hope that you said nothing but good things to yourself and about yourself. Every day is critical. Every day matters. Why? Because you matter. Why? Because you matter. So often we go through life and we want everybody else's life to matter. But I want to be the first person to announce to you today that you matter. I hope that you are achieving every goal that you put forth. I hope that you are achieving that you're overcoming every obstacle that's in your way, and that you're not running from the obstacle, but that you're running to the obstacle and running through the obstacle. Yeah. Without further ado, for the next 30 minutes, I'm streaming across a couple of platforms, so bear with me. For the next 30 minutes, I want to talk about who am I? I want to talk about who am I when nobody's choosing me. That's critical right there. Who are you when nobody's choosing me? Because the thing is, Batty, Miss Janice, the thing is that most people they don't they fear most people don't fear losing somebody, but they fear losing the feeling of how a person made them feel when they were together. Detachment. The problem is that so many people you find out here, they're looking for what's called external validation, which replaces their identity. It replaces their identity so much so that their confidence rises, but then it crashes when they get lack of attention. Yeah. I want to talk about who are you when nobody chooses you. If somebody were to ask you who are you when nobody chooses you, what would you say? Can you live without people, without the one that you said that claimed that gives you the most attention? Yeah. Can you? I wrote down a couple of notes and I just want to go over them for the next couple of moments. For the next couple of moments, detachment forces identity ownership. You stop asking if they want you and start asking if you recognize yourself without applause. Yeah. So in other words, when you are able to detach your things that you rely on, when people come around and all of a sudden, you start hanging out with them, you start getting used to their phone conversations, and they begin to tell you how good you look. They begin to tell you how good you smell. They begin to say, "Oh, I like being with you." But the minute they stop being around you, the minute they're no longer there with you, who are you when they're not there? Because the thing is that attention is loud, identity is quiet. When nobody gives you the attention that you're desiring, are you still powerful? Never get too attached to the compliments that people give you. Nobody's compliments should be louder than the compliments that you give yourself. I can't tell you enough how people you can tell what a person you can tell a person what they get the most compliments on them. How so, Cook? Because that person, whatever they get the most compliments on, they'll keep doing it and doing it. They'll do their best to try to show it. So if a person says, "Oh, you have nice hands," they'll everywhere they go, they'll try to show their hands. I've seen people that they may have gotten a compliment on their feet. It's 10 degrees below. but they got their toes out. Who are you when nobody compliments you, when nobody chooses you? Listen, because to some, being chosen is a badge. Baby, you have to fall in love with yourself and you have to compliment yourself. How can somebody else with whom you don't know, with whom you don't hang around, and when they're not there to compliment you, you feel different. You feel worthless. What you say about yourself should reign 100 times greater than what others say. Did you know? Did you know? The more attached you become to attention, it creates an identity crisis in your life. Yeah, let me say that again. The more attached that you become to getting attention from people, it actually creates an identity crisis. Because as long as you eat the attention that people give you, you then have a thirst for it. And you attach yourself. If somebody says you're pretty, the minute that person stops saying you're pretty, you either begin to try to push hard for them to say that you're pretty, or you begin to enhance yourself or do things to yourself just to get that word pretty out of them. You have to begin to stay only attached to God and yourself. Because the thing about people is that people will disappoint you every time, Val. I can't tell you how many times I've been disappointed. I can't tell you how many times I've been disappointed, Janice, because we have attached ourselves so much to other people's words when they say that they love us. Yeah. They say that they love us. And so we're looking and yearning for that same person to say that they love us. Now, for most people, they weren't in love with you. Most people that have low self-esteem, most people that love attention, they really weren't in love with you. They were connected to your approval of them. Let me say it to you again. Most people, I ain't saying you. Most people will say that they love you. They're quick to say that they love you. Or they say, or we use the modern day vernacular, I am in love with you. Because now we want to differentiate. We want to create some type of separatism between I'm in love with you and I love you. Yeah. They'll say that. But in actuality, Miss Janice, they ain't really in love with you. Yeah. They in love with your approval rating of them. They like the approval you give of them. Because the minute you stop showing that you approve of them, the word love diminishes. They stop calling you, they stop texting you, they stop coming around because they were so dependent on how you viewed them instead of how they viewed themselves. I am telling you, when you lose a person, some people, when you lose them and detach yourself from them, you just have to be okay with losing that person. There is nobody in life that there's nobody in life that comes your way that you lose yourself over. Say it again. You should not be attaching yourself to somebody so much so that you're willing to lose yourself over. Because when you attach yourself to somebody that you put before you, then when something happens to that person, you lose yourself before you lose them. You have to give yourself the highest approval rating. I'm telling you, you have to stop asking yourself. You have to start asking yourself the critical question, who am I when nobody chooses me? What category do I put myself in? Yeah. What category do I put myself? I am telling because the loudest, the loudest loss. How do I want to say this? Pardon me. You can tell the attention seekers when you come around them. They always talk about me, myself, and I. They never talk about what they never talk about anything else but themselves. Because they have attached themselves to how other people view them. Attachment, it hides people's emptiness. So when they attach themselves to other people, how other people see them, how other people approve of them, they use a connection as the escape. They always want to call you, doesn't matter, and talk about absolutely nothing. They use the connection as an escape to deal with themselves. They always want to text you. What you doing? Where you at? How you feeling? What's really good? What's going on in your life? The attachment, listen to me. Yeah. Attachment hides a person's emptiness. Why? Because silence feels threatening to them. Let me say it again. Silence feels threatening to some people. So they always got to be in the mix. How many of y'all, I want to pause right here, put a heart in the chat. How many of y'all know somebody that's always got to be into something, or they always have their nose into something? How many of y'all put a heart in the chat? Put a heart in the chat. And so because so what happens is, Val, and so because these people continue to call us, we fall for the okie doke. And when they call us with all of their drama, when they call us with all of their trauma, when they call us with all of their emptiness, because they don't want to be alone, and they got to call us with the story, we fall for it, and we want to say, is everything okay? Oh my God, did that really happen to you? No. And so we become connected to their emptiness. I want to prevent each and every one of you I want you to detach yourself from the people, and I'm not saying ghost them. Listen to when I talk about detach, I'm not talking about ghosting. I'm not talking about cutting people off. I'm not talking about blocking them. I'm not talking about that. That's not detachment. Detachment just says that my dependency is not even nowhere near close to you. How I feel about myself doesn't depend on how you feel about yourself. What you do in your life or what happens to you does not affect me. That's the level of detachment. Because the thing is, when you begin to value yourself, you value yourself without witnesses. So you don't really need them. It's a difference between you wanting somebody in your life and needing somebody in your life. And the only person that you need in your life is God. I know you think you may need this person. I know you may think that you need that person. I never forget. I had a cousin. I had a cousin of mine, right, Val? I had this cousin, Miss Janice. I had this cousin, and I promise you, I thought I needed this cousin. I really thought I needed this cousin. I was dependent on this cousin, and the cousin said, "Man, he said, man, we not gonna be cool no more. If you don't do this favor for me," because he was trying to borrow some money. He said, "If you don't do this, man, I don't even want it." And I thought that because I always called him for advice. I always called him for advice. And so when he said, man, he called me trying to get, ask me for some money or whatever. And I said, I don't have it. Man, let me get it till Thursday. Let me get it till Thursday. I said, I ain't got it, man. You phony. You phony. You don't be trying to help a brother out and all of that. No, we not cool like that. You always talk about you love me. You always talk about we brothers, and you always saying this, but we not cool like, because you can't even do that for me. I told you I'm gonna give it back to you Thursday. Good God Almighty. Val, we stopped talking on the phone. We stopped talking on the phone. He stopped texting me. He stopped calling me. And may I tell you that it was the best decision, Miss Janice? Because a lot of people that you think that you're connected to, you think that you'll miss, you think you can't do without, you don't miss them, you miss the distraction of them. You miss the distraction of them. That's what most people miss. They don't miss the person. They miss the distraction that they bring in your life. So you walking around, you thinking that y'all are cool. No, they just there to take your mind off of the things that you really should be focused on. Distractions. Yeah. I'm telling you, your peace, listen to me. I got to give you this. And the great thing I learned from it is that your peace begins when your peace begins when your distraction ends. Let that sink in. Put that in the chat. Your peace begins. You start feeling good. You start doing things for yourself. You start smiling more. Your energy hits different. You start walking like a boss. You start talking like you matter. All of that starts when your distraction ends. And there are a lot of distractions that we allow to connect or attach themselves to us. Yeah. To attach themselves to us. I want you to detach yourself from all of these distractions. Detach yourself from everything that is trying to attach. Do you know, because to be honest, and I'm ready to close on other platforms. I'm ready to close. Your self-worth, listen to me. Your self-worth is attached to who you select to be in your life. Ain't nobody forcing you to be in your life. Let me say that again. Your self-worth begins, it's tied to, not begins, your self-worth is connected to, it's tied to who you allow to be in your life. Yeah. So if you select certain people to be in your life, nobody's forcing you. Your mother's not forcing you. Your mothers, your cousins, your aunts, none of them ain't forcing you to be in your life. None of them. None of them. You allow them to. You give them permission to. And your self-worth is attached. It's tied to the selectivity that you give. You selecting them every time. You're choosing them. You're choosing the very people that bring discomfort in your life, that brings disturbance in your life, that breaks your peace. It ain't on them. Good. No, it ain't on them. No. A lot of people, they fear being invincible. So many people fear being invincible, where they no longer bother you anymore. Yeah, Val. It's not that we that we don't. We know that we don't want them in our life. Exactly. Yeah, Val. We know that we don't want them in our life. We know that they bring disturbance in our life. We know that they have a problem with us. We know that they don't like us. We know that they can care less about us. But yet we still select them. And when you select them, you tie your self worth to them. And the reason you don't get rid of them, the reason you don't detach yourself from them, the reason you don't cut down on the communication with them is because deep down inside, you fear being invincible. Try it sometimes. Because God gave you the power, He gave you the strength, He gave you the fortitude. You savvy, you're intelligent, you're fearfully, you're wonderfully made, you're smart, you're witty, your character is in line. You have power. You're strong in areas of your life. All of that is the ingredients of invincibility. They can't touch you. For real, for real. They can't touch you. But you want to reach back for them. We're so busy worrying about reaching back for. How can you reach back for somebody that don't want to be touched? How can listen? I'm telling you straight up. We want to get our good girlfriends. You know, you want to go hang out with your girlfriend. You want to go hang out with your boyfriends, and they ain't trying to be nowhere near what you trying to do. You don't want to hang out with them. I mean, they don't want to hang out with you for real, but they feed off of you because they know that you have so much power. Some people just leech on just being in your presence. Did you know that? Some people just leeches on being in your presence. They really don't like you. They just like how your strength and how your energy. They don't like you per se, but they like being around you because because you're so powerful and you make them feel some type of way. You make them feel powerful when they're walking around empty. So they use you for your presence instead of you using you for your presence. Let's say it again. People will hang around you for your presence, not your person. When it should be opposite, you need to hang around you and use you for your presence. What do I mean by that? Use your strength. Use who you are to get to where you want to be. I started this segment off talking about we're 2 months into our life. We're 2 months into the year. What have you done with yourself? I talked about that. I talked about that. Yeah, I talked about that. And let me close this thing. Let me talk a little bit about relationship, but just really, really fast. I want to touch on relationships because I saw this thing today, right, Nene? Belle, I saw this thing today, and the person said, I don't want to leave him because his love completes me. That's what she said. I saw one of these memes on Instagram. She said, I don't want to leave him because his love completes me. That's what she said. Listen to me. Listen. And I want to say this to everybody out there looking for love or that's in love. Love doesn't complete you. Love covers you. That's it. Love doesn't complete you. Love covers you. I told you the other day that God is love, and God has no opposites. He ain't got no opposite. Love doesn't have an opposite. Everything has an opposite but love. Everything in your life has an opposite but love. Good has an opposite to evil. Negative has positive has an opposite to negative. Negative is the opposite of positive. But love has no opposites. And love covers a multitude of sin. Covers. And so you out here thinking that love is going to complete you. Yeah, love has no opposites. God is love, and there's nothing that is opposite to God. Some people may say, the devil is no, he created the devil, but he's not his opposite, because there's nothing equal to it. There's nothing equal to God. Nothing. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. It's nothing equal. Nothing equal. He's El Elyon, El Shaddai. He's the all-knowing one. He's Jehovah Jireh. He's Jehovah Nisi. He's Jehovah Tiskadu. There is none like him. And so we out here looking for somebody that is equal, that's going to complete you. No, nobody completes you. You complete yourself. Yeah. So I just wanted to just say that. Hopefully this was a blessing. Make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you connect with me. I am coming on my other social media pages. I'm going to start coming on at 8 p.m. I'm going to start coming on at 8 p.m. And thank you, Val. I'm going to start coming on at 8 p.m. and on all platforms. So lock in with me. If you have not said anything good to yourself today, if you have not said anything good about yourself today, now is the time. Now is the time to begin to say nothing but good things about yourself and to yourself. The strongest version of you does not need to be seen. It's revealed. Just like love. The strongest version of you does not need to be seen. I'm going to say this and I'm closing. I want to say this. And I feel on my spirit to say this. Many years ago, I know God put me on a mission. God called me. I know he called me. So what I would do is that I would fly around all over the country to all of these top name preachers' church. And I would go sit with them. Because I wanted them to see what God saw in me. Listen to me. So every preacher that you see on television, I would fly around and meet them. Sit down with the Miles Monroe, Joel Osteen, all of them. And I would tell them, I said, man, God is calling me. I said that. And they said, oh yeah? Okay. Well, let me pray for you. I wanted to be seen when God will reveal you in time. It wasn't until there was this one pastor, this one preacher, that I went and I saw. He said, I need you to stop flying around to see these pastors. He said, everything you need is in this word. Stop doing it. I can't tell you. I mean, I flew everywhere. Texas, California, Mississippi. I flew everywhere to meet every last pastor that you can think of. Because I wanted to be seen. And I had to detach myself. Yeah. Because self-definition is the best applause that you can make. Self-definition is the best applause that you can make. When you apply yourself, when you allow life, when you allow time to reveal who you are. That's the best applause. So here I am. He said, man, he said, stop doing all of that because who you are becoming is never seen and it's always revealed. And I want to make a suggestion. When nobody doesn't applaud you, nobody compliments you, when nobody calls you and say that they're thinking of you, when nobody does anything for you, when nobody even just calls and say hello, that doesn't mean you're not great. It just means that you're still being revealed. Why? Because your attention, you're not dependent on who stays, you're not dependent on who goes in your life, but you're dependent on who remains, and God will forever remain in your life. Let this be an announcement to you today that who you are becoming is never seen. It's always revealed. I hope you loved. I hope you make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Until I see you again. Thank you for joining.